So within literally like 4 weeks of buying my Tesla Model Y in December of 2023, so I have the 2023 standard range Tesla Model Y in the gray color with 19-inch wheels. Um, and I bought this at the end of 2023 in December. Tesla was giving a nice incentive where I think the cars are around $3,000 to $5,000 off on existing inventory, and gray is the new standard color. But I bought that, was very excited. This is the first time I've had a new car. I've always been a huge proponent of never buying a new car because, cars are depreciating assets. The moment you drive the car off the lot, it goes down in value significantly. Just like if you were to buy a brand new BMW for $50,000, the moment you drive it off the lot, it's now worth $40,000. So, for me, I was always a proponent of buy a car 3 years used. And because at that point it already lost appreciation value, and you just buy it, and usually it's not that old. It might have like maybe 30 to 50,000 miles on it. But this was the first time that I bought a new car, and I was nervous because I was like, I don't want to scratch my car, right? And then God behold, I was in a tight parking spot in the parking structure at the apartment complex I live in, and they have like these two side walls. And I'm the type where I never park backwards, right? But because Tesla has that nice backup camera, I did park backwards in, and I was afraid of scratching my car when I was parking backwards. But because I had my side mirrors up, like as you can see, the side mirrors are up right here, I can kind of see if I would scratch the side beam or not. So what got me was, I backed in okay, right? But what got me was going out. That's when I scratched my right side of my car, and I didn't even notice it. And I thought my car would have a sensor when I would hit the side, right? But the sensor for the Tesla is only for the front and the back, and even that, it's not as accurate, right? So what happened was I was parked backwards, and Tesla has these auto fold, right? So the side mirrors are folded down, and I was afraid of hitting my side mirrors, so I kept it down, which is not usual for me. Like, I usually don't have my side mirrors down because my old car couldn't do it, right? So I had my side mirrors down, and then I was trying to get out of this tight spot, and what happened was there was another car that was kind of parked and blocking me. So I was trying to make a right, but there was a car there, and it would have been a tight right. And I'm used to making those tight right turns, right? Because I had a sports car, a BMW 3 Series. I can make those tight turns. I'm used to it, right? But with the Tesla Model Y, I have wider tires. It's a wider turn. I wasn't used to driving in a mini SUV. So I thought, okay, I can make it, and I would get the alert. So I was trying to make a right, backed out, made another right, and then I thought, I knew I was close to the beam on the right side, but didn't think I hit it. And then I just heard this little screech sound. I was like, ee! And I was like, oh shit. And I walked out, and then lo and behold, I scratched the right side of my thing. I scratched the right side of my BMW. It was like a white, you can see the white paint all over it. And then I backed out, and then I made a left, made a U-turn. So kind of moral story that I learned was, number one, Tesla doesn't have any sensors on the side, which is obvious. Number two is I turned off the auto fold on the mirrors because, number one, over time that mechanism is going to break. It's going to cost money to replace that, right? Because every time you open and close your car, your side mirrors open and close. So I don't want that mechanism to break down, right? Because I heard that does break down over time, especially in colder climates. I don't want to deal with that. But also, because the mirrors were down, had the mirrors been up, I would have saw that my car, my right side, was literally scraping the column, right? But because my side mirror was folded down, I couldn't see that, right? And so basically I did that, got out, felt really stupid. The first scratch is always the hardest, and you feel really stupid. I still feel stupid, but basically what I did was I ended up buffing out the scratch. So like when you scratch your car, you might scratch the exterior, the clear protective coating, and a lot of times it looks bad, worse than it really is, because the paint from the white paint from the drywall was on the car, right? So it was like a little line scratch. I can show a video, if this does well, and based on the comments and feedback, I can show you how I buffed it out and how I touched up paint it. But I got this chemical called Megulars. I don't know how to say it. It's Megulars rubbing compound. It's like a red bottle. If you search that on Amazon, it's nice. So it's a buffing compound, and it helps restore the original paint. It can remove a lot of the white paint, and it makes your butt scratch look not as bad. So what you do is, first of all, you have to clean the area, right? I drive outside a lot, so it gets dirty. So I clean the area with a scratch. I cleaned it with like a water, and you get like a microfiber cloth. So I have this yellow one in my car. You can buy this on Amazon or Costco. Just a softer, non-scratch microfiber cloth. And then what I did was I basically cleaned it out, right? And at that point, you're gonna get the Meguiar's rubbing compound. It's a red bottle. It's about $15 for a pretty big bottle. And what you do is you want to apply like a quarter size onto your microfiber cloth. And then what you want to do is, once you get it, you want to like rub in a circular motion, right? So you want to go like clockwise and counterclockwise over a little area. So I had a pretty big area, just do a little area at a time. And you want to keep on going clockwise, counterclockwise in circles, and don't let the rubbing compound dry, right? And then as you start doing that, you'll see that you have a lot of buffs. You can buff out a lot of the scratches. So I was able to buff out like just through that. Like it looked bad, right? Initially, once I cleaned the car, it looked a lot better. And then once I buffed it, like it removed like 90% of it, because a lot of it is just restoring the clear coat, removing the paint from the white drywall, and then it helps remove a lot of the scratches. So the 80% of it was buffed out, right? Like after doing this, and I did this like the whole buffing process probably took me like 15 minutes because I'm very OCD. But you buff it, and you want to do it multiple times, right? Like you want to do this multiple times over multiple days. So what I did was I would buff it in little segments. I would do it one day, it looked good, and then the next day I would clean it again and buff it again. So I did this like 3 or 4 times because when I'm charging here I have free time. I'm literally buffing my I'm buffing my Tesla. So after you buff it, it wasn't bad. So what was left was there was 2 kind of bigger scratches that I couldn't buff out, and it just looked like dust from a certain angle, right? So if the sun shined on it directly, the light hit it directly, and I'm looking at a certain angle, you can see it, and it just looks like there's a bunch of dust, right? So it was very minor. Like if you're looking from afar, you can't tell, but up close at a certain angle of light, you can still see the scratch. There's 2 areas where actually the rubbing compound restored a lot of my original paint, which was good, and I had 2 little areas that were kind of like I want to say like 1/4 of my pinky. So if you see my pinky here, it was about 1/4 of it. I had 2 spots where that's the chip. I couldn't restore. The original paint was removed, and I bought this. I didn't buy the Tesla touch-up kit because that's expensive. I think it's like $60. But I went on Amazon, and I found a little. It was a little pen. So it was compatible with the metallic silver. It was a little pen. It was $12, and I looked at the reviews, and they said that it did match the paint well for the silver metallic for the Tesla. And what's nice about it was this little pen, and it had 2 modes. It had a paintbrush for larger areas, and it had a little pen that you can like just kind of like slowly write on it for smaller areas. So for me, the pen was a lot more accurate, so it was nice. So after I buffed it, I gave it a day or 2, and at that point I cleaned it again, removed everything, and then this is when I started to touch up. So you want to have good light when you're touching up. I shook the pen, and then what I did was I used the pen because it's a lot more accurate, right? And the scratch wasn't that big, so if it was big enough, then I would use the paint. So I just cleaned it. I didn't sand it, right, because I didn't want to mess with it further. I just used the pen, shake it up, and then I did a little application to see if it matches the color, and it did. If it didn't match the color, I would have returned the product and then ask for a refund, because they do give a refund if it doesn't match. You just say it doesn't match. But I did it, it matched, and then I would just slowly pen over it, and then it dries pretty fast. So what you do is you want to pen it, and then within like a minute it will dry, right? So you just do a couple layers of the pen and let it dry, and then I would do that for one, and then for the other one I would pen it again. If it's a bigger scratch, you might have to use a paintbrush, but I like the pen because it was very accurate, right? You just shake it, a little bit comes out, and you're like just writing on it, right? It's like coloring. So once I colored it, it looked good. Like if you look up close at it with light, you can say it's a little bit rough because I didn't want to sand my car. It was a little bit rougher. If you were to touch over your hand, it's not as smooth, obviously. But from a distance, if you're walking to the car and you look at it, you can't tell, right? Like I know because I just know where I scratched my car, but if somebody walked up to my car and hasn't seen it, they don't know where it is unless they're cleaning my car. They can see there's a little like rougher patch area. So, so overall, pretty happy with the product. That Meguiar's cost me $15. I still have a lot of it left. So, you know, if a rock or someone hits my car, I can buff it out. So it's definitely a good thing to have. You know, I probably used 1/5 of that bottle to buff up my scratch, but I was really going at it, right, multiple times with a microfiber cloth. And then the paint pen, barely used any of it, still good. I can use it for any other like chips and rocks that I got. So overall, was pretty happy of it. Spent $15 for the rubbing compound, the Meguiar's rubbing compound red bottle, $15 for that. Bought on Amazon, and I bought the touch-up paint pen / brush on Amazon as well, and that was $12. Pretty happy of that. So I spent about $30 and a lot of buffing, wax on, wax off to clean that, and I can't tell. So once again, let me know if you have any comments or questions down below. If this video does well, I'm happy to show what I did on the car, full live demonstration. But was pretty happy with the Meguiar's rubbing compound as well as the touch-up paint pen that I found on Amazon. So please share this video with somebody if you find value from this, and hope to see you in the next one. Thank you so much.